Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you, my dear friends. Yeah, you're not dreaming. This is not a fever dream. You are actually seeing correctly. I've got Annie Haslam on the show today. We're talking about Renaissance. We're talking about their new tour. We're talking about Annie's incredible life, her incredible career, all her incredible music. Annie Haslam is in the house. Annie, how you doing this morning?
I feel great. Woo!
Yeah. Woo! Oh, yeah, this is amazing. And, I asked Kevin from Prog Radio to join us today. Number one, because he's a dear friend and I know he loves himself some Renaissance, but also because we are simulcasting this live on Prog Radio. So I always feel a little more comfortable knowing if I have any technical issues. Kevin's going to be right there for me. Kevin, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. And hello to everybody listening on Prog Radio. We are live there. And what an honor to be here with Annie. So I'm thrilled. Thanks for having me, Scott.
No, thank you. Annie, so you had just told me that you were watching the Harry Whitley episode last week when we were breaking down Asia, talking about our 10 favorite Asia songs. And you were like, man, I want to be on the program. And you reached out, and here we are. This is amazing. How do you know Harry?
Wow. Well, I went over to England in 2023 to be part of the memorial concert for John Wetton. And it was for everybody that was in the book about John. All those people were invited to be a part of the show. And that's where I first met him. And oh God, I could talk hours about it. It was just so special, and it was so obvious at the end of the night that Asia was going to be reborn again. It was no doubt. And Harry was such a great guy, very, very funny, even right from the start. He can't stop talking. That's just the way he is. A bit like me, really. But that's the sign of somebody who's a great entertainer. You know, like you, Scott. You just love being alive, and
that's it. Just be you. And Harry caught me right away. I'm like you. I knew something was up, man. I knew something was up as soon as I saw Jeff Downs reposting some of Harry's stuff. I'm like, okay, he's hearing what I'm hearing. Obviously.
Oh
yeah.
Those YouTube things that Harry's done are amazing.
Great.
If anybody else, you've got to look at those. And he's his face, and he was really into it. And then he'd just do something really funny, and he plays everything. A great guy, but his voice is very similar to John's.
Yeah, it really is. And he says he doesn't hear it. That's the funny thing. He's like, I don't know what people are talking about. What do you mean you don't know what people are talking about, man? You sound just like him. But for those of you that don't know, you and John Wetton go way back. I mean, in fact, he played in the band for a while.
Well, it wasn't a while. I wish it was, because it was really good looking.
It was like a while. Yeah, like a flick of the finger.
Actually, I'm not sure. It could have been Ed Bicknell, who used to be our agent as well. He may have got those shows for us, but we needed a bass player. That's right. And it could have been Ed Bicknell, and Ed managed Dire Straits as well. He's another funny man. He's like not anything that comes out of his mouth that's not funny. My brother, some people like that, can't help it.
Yeah.
Anyway, he I think he was the one that might have suggested John, and so anyway, he came to rehearsals, and I thought, when you see somebody right in your face and they're really good looking, you don't know what to say. You're like,
right?
I say, oh, you're gorgeous. Can I have a kiss? So anyway, I didn't. And he was with us for about 4 shows. He was perfect. He looked amazing. Brilliant bass player. He didn't get to. He might have done backing vocals, because to me his voice is different, And he did about 4 shows with us, and then he needed to go on to bigger things, because it was so obvious he wasn't just meant to be in a band, with other people, backing people. And so we stayed in touch over the years. There used to be a magazine, a real magazine, Classic Rock Society. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And they asked me if I'd do a column for them. So I did a column called Egg and Chips, Bread and Butter and a Cup of Tea. And And what I did is I contacted people that I knew in the business. I think I interviewed Tony Visconti, the Dave Hill from Slade, Ian Hunter, John, and some other people, and just asked them to tell me things that they'd never, ever, ever told anybody ever in their life. And that's what it was all about, really, you know. And so then after that, we were touring in Japan with my solo band. That's right. I went to Japan with the Annie Haslam band. And when we were there, we were at Virgin Records. And Asia came up, and then the guy who was the head of marketing and everything said, "Oh, Asia, blah, 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 they're playing in Nagoya." And I said, "Oh, I want to call John up." So we found him, and we were on the phone for ages. But it's so weird, you know, we hadn't seen him since the 70s. And so that was the next one. And then after that, we did that interview, and something else came up. And I contacted him because I needed some information about publishing company or something. And and we had a good conversation then. And not so long after that, that's when Jeff Downs and John got together the Icon album that they were going to do, which was the two of them, you know. And they'd got a song, and they contacted me and said, "We've got this song called In the End, and we'd like you to do a backing vocals." Or it's not really a duet because John does all the leads, but it's you know, it's me when I come in the chorus, you know, and everything. It's really beautiful song. And anyway, so I was calling, trying to. I did that. Actually, I did that with Larry Fast over here. Do you know Larry Fast?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just got off of Nectar Week on the channel. So yeah, Larry Fast's name came up quite a few times.
Yes. Anyway, so I did my recording at Larry's studio. So that was really fun. And we both love the song so much. It's just drop dead gorgeous. Anyway, after we'd done it, I contacted John. I went to talk to John in the studio at some point for whatever reason, I can't remember. And that's when I found out that he was very, very ill.
Yeah.
And he'd had a problem with alcohol for many, many years. And of course, I didn't know. I wasn't living over there. It's not something that you talk about.
Right.
I mean, although we're talking about it now, and I think a lot of people know about it, especially people who know John, because the story's all in the book. And so I think it was it kind of something that happened with all this. I think everybody had done whatever they could to help him.
Yeah. And
it needed somebody that was like away from it all. And I felt like, I think I'm going to have to go over there because I think I'm going to be able to get him into rehab. And so I flew over twice, actually. That was quite an experience. We had a beautiful experience one morning, not the way you think, though, not that kind of experience. Although it might have been nice, but we didn't do that. It was in the morning, and I was in my dressing gown, and he was in his dressing gown. And he said, "Oh, why don't we sing Jerusalem by the Good Piano?" I wish we'd recorded it. I had tears in my eyes when I was singing it. It was crazy. You know, so we sang Jerusalem, and then I spent the time with him. It was draining, but I knew I had to be there. It was wonderful in that way. You know what I mean? And so I came home, and he was going to go into rehab, and of course I shouldn't have come home, and then so I had to go back and do it again. Right. And then we got him in, and then. You know, the rest is history, really. Just carried on. Asia reformed, and they toured the world and recorded, and I'm getting choked up now thinking about it. So that's how I know John.
Yeah. Were you surprised by the outpouring when he left us? Just the outpouring of love for John Wetton. It was for me. It was really moving.
It was. No, yeah. You see, I think that. this might sound out there because I am out there really. I don't know where I am, But I think that my feeling about voices and instruments, because when somebody plays a guitar like Steve Hackett, how can he play constantly? Because when you've got a gift from God like that, it's a different play. I can't explain it. It's just it's like channeling almost. It's like my painting. I don't know what I'm going to paint.
For everybody who hasn't noticed, take a gander at Annie's artwork that she's sitting in front of. Just amazing. We've got a painted guitar there next to you that is just a little off screen that I want people to see before we forget. Look at this. Just insane.
The back and the sides. I haven't finished it yet. It doesn't really take me all that long.
Oh, that's so awesome.
La, 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 la.
Now,
this morning.
Now, if somebody wanted to send you a guitar, would you paint it for them?
Yeah, but what they'd have to do is they'd have to get it stripped beforehand. They'd have to get the lacquer or whatever off it, and it wouldn't be playable if it was an acoustic guitar.
Right.
It would be if it was a solid body. So they just contact me and let me know what they want to do.
There you go. There you go. That's awesome. That just looks really cool. Now, we were talking about the legend that was John Wetton.
What I was saying about the voices, yeah. So I think anybody that's got a unique voice, there's something more in it than just somebody singing rock and roll. Yeah. And that sounds a bit like this person or that person. I'm not putting them down at all because they're successful, but I think that certain people, it's more in the voice that is the frequencies, the vibrations, and everything. Which we're starting to learn about all that stuff now, aren't we? What we're going at, what's going on in the planet and beyond, and everything. And so I think that that's why more people heard him, even with Renaissance as well, in a way, same thing. Because when they leave a concert, but I always add in laughter because I can't help it. And I that was always something in the band, the original band, that the band didn't like. So they used to say, "Stop laughing on stage, and you're talking too much." So when I got my own band together, the floodgates opened. Right. But it's that's just me. But it's when you're out there. I mean, John, his look, he had a certain look as well. It's and they, without knowing it, I think we were able to see people's spirits and feel them. Yeah. But a lot of people go, "Oh no, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what it is. No, I don't believe in it." It's there. That's who we are. And I think that's why so many people, there's an outpouring all over the world,
Yeah. And people, let's be honest, there's something about the human voice, right? We all have one, so we can all connect to it. Not everybody can play a guitar or, play a keyboard or play the drums, but everybody's got a voice so that it connects to the human psyche like nothing else can. That's why people want to see Annie Haslam, right? I mean, you've connected with people on a very deep and emotional level. I'm looking at these comments that keep pouring in here. It's just amazing. I mean, how do you keep your voice in such good shape after all these years?
Well, I'm not a heavy drinker. I don't drink very often. I'm certainly not drinking anything right now because we're going to be touring soon. Yeah. I think I had a couple of joints. Naughty things. When the band had a huge argument, it was the Roundhouse in London. It was awful, and John said, "I'm going to roll a joint." And it was like the anger in the room was awful. And I said, so John lit it, and I said to John, and now everybody nearly died. I said, "Come on, let me have a go." I didn't like it, and it felt like it burnt my throat. And I didn't need it, really. I'm stupid without it, you know what I mean? I don't need anything like that.
Right.
I took it, and I was like, "Oh, what am I doing?" And then everybody laughed, and that was the end of the argument.
Yeah.
I love it. Back together, but that's not, everybody's different. And of course, it's medicinal now, isn't it?
Yep, that's right, and it's legal in most states as we go. And we alluded to the fact that you do have a tour coming up. We haven't really touched on it yet. I got it crawling across the bottom here about the tour, which starts October 17th, and I do have the tour dates in the video description. So if you're watching this, you can just look at that right now, take a look and see, and get your tickets right now, man. Let's sell out these dates. Is this going to be the final tour, Annie?
Yeah. So this is the last time they'll see the band.
So my recommendation is that as soon as we're done on this live stream, well, you can multitask, right? People can do two things at once now. You can order your tickets right now while you're watching Annie talking about the tour. Without giving anything away, right? No spoiler alerts here, but what's the set list looking like? What can people expect when they come to see Renaissance in Gratitude, the farewell tour, starting October 17th?
We're starting off with Prologue. We've been using Carpets of the Sun for so long, but we love to do it because everybody sings it.
Yeah.
And then we're doing Carpet of the Sun. But Prologue is always been good for me to start off with because the high notes are very simple for me. And so I can really not force my voice, but sing out well all these high notes, and it just gets me sung in better than going straight into words because it's a vocalise, Yeah. And I get to play the maracas. I remember Roy Wood it was the side of stage once, he said it sounds like a bra full of dried peas.
Yeah, Roy would know.
No, that's what I used to think. Oh, it's dried peas. It's dried peas.
We had somebody in the comments earlier asking if speaking of old boyfriends, are you still talking to Roy?
Every now and again, yeah, not very often. He's in England. I don't think he's working so much now, but of course he'll always be recording. He's got a great studio.
Yeah.
Because I did a version of Flowers in the Rain a couple of years back. That we added to Annie in Wonderland as a bonus track when it was on Friday Music. Yeah.
What a great record that was, by the way. What was that, 1977, I think that came out?
You know what? Whenever somebody says that, I just go back to all we used to lend these studios, and which was at Wembley, because Wembley Stadium was still around then. It was right there, and God, it was so exciting. It was really exciting when the brass band came in, and there were like, oh God, how many were there? 60 of them. They came in about 3 coaches. They didn't want to get paid. They just wanted beer.
Pay me in beer. I'm good.
We got bought in all these crates of beer, and we did it. I think we did it in Studio One, which was the large studio where they did all the films and everything in there. And they were so excited anyway. I think they'd been drinking on the bus, and they came in, and there's one, there's another, like 60 of them coming in. Oh my God. And when they sang, I was crying my eyes out when it came. That's a song called Going Home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And oh, goodness me. And also we brought in a different day, a brass band. Hemel Hempstead brass band. Oh. My cousin Jeffrey Swan used to play euphonium in a brass band in Buxton in Derbyshire. So I'd sit next to him when I thought, oh God, what the hell is that? It was right in my ear. But that was like when he was practicing, and I didn't know, I wasn't a singer. I was like a child, really. But they were, again, the sound of a brass band.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
And hey, the label didn't mind too much. They're getting paid in beer, so we're not going over budget on this thing.
Yeah, and then we brought in some of the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, and we recorded in Abbey Road. So that was another amazing experience. I don't know whether Alan Parsons was there or not. He was there one time we were there, and he was engineering. Not Pavarotti, Placido Domingo. I never say it correctly. He wasn't singing. He was conducting Placido.
Wow.
He was, yeah. So that was another amazing memory of it was just incredible. And we ate a lot of curry because, you know, everybody eats curry in England. It was the national dish of England a few years ago. I don't know whether it's chicken tikka masala.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, Annie, you and I, you know, both live kind of in the boonies of, I live in Ohio, and the nearest good curry is like 55 miles from here. You know, it's really upsetting. I don't, you know, that's one thing I don't like about living out in the woods, and I'm looking out your back window there, and I'm guessing you're not living in the big city right now.
No, I'm not. It's semi-rural. It's in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Yeah. It's lovely. Yeah.
God's country.
Yeah.
Now we were talking a little bit about the tour, and before I forget, we did have a question in the Peanut Gallery about a venue change that occurred and what he can do with his ticket. Is that ticket going to be good at the new venue, or what should he do? Do you know about that?
I think it tells you exactly what to do on the post that I put on there.
Okay.
I think he has to contact where he got the ticket from. To ask him to look at the first thing I put up there, and it tells you what to do.
Okay, good deal.
Or is it? Does he want? Can he not make the other?
Oh, he can make it. He just wants to.
That's cool. Yeah. He'll be able to sort that out. Yeah, just tell him to read.
Renaissance fans are a loyal bunch. I'm already seeing people in the comments telling me where they're going to go see you. Martin Fiedler, Debbie, and I will be in Collingswood. That's cool. They also said earlier that they have a bunch of your artwork. So that's got to be cool to hear, right? People will come up to you and talk to you more about your art than your music. And John wants to know, have you ever heard from John Camp?
No, not very often.
Not many people do anymore, I don't think.
No, I don't think he's doing very much right now. I know he did a little bit of recording with a Canadian band or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen he was on a couple things. John Holden album a couple years ago, I think, and I don't remember, but yeah, he's kind of inactive. But wow, I mean, you think about the sound of Renaissance, you got to think about John as a big part of it, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, he was the sound. It was like John Tartt's piano playing.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard the Carnegie Hall version of Ashes of Burning.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the best. I think that's the best bass solo he did, to be honest. But he did many of them. There you go. Yeah, that was an amazing. We were
just incredible.
Yeah,
what a great album.
First band to sell out 3 nights in a row. Yeah. I
was just telling my wife that before we went on. She's like, okay, tell me a little bit about Renaissance. And one of the first things I said was, they sold out 3 consecutive nights at Carnegie Hall, the first UK band to ever do that. But my Renaissance story is actually, it goes back to 1975. And I got an older sister. I wasn't allowed in her room ever. That was like sacred ground. There were 3 boys and her. And I was like no man's land in there. But this music was wafting out of her room one day, man. Apparently, she had gone out and bought novella. And man, my ear was to the door nonstop. So as soon as she went to school or whatever, I snuck in. I stole the album. Began my love affair with Renaissance. It all started with novella for me, and then I worked backwards. So, I've been a fan for 49 years, Annie. So this is awesome having you here. But we were talking about the legend that is John Wetton, but I want to go back a little bit further. Before we went on, you started telling me about when you were working in London, in the design industry somehow, in the textile world, Savile Row. What were you doing? And I guess one day you were walking down the street on your lunch break and there was something happening on a rooftop. I've heard this story secondhand many times, but I got to hear it from you. What's the story?
Yeah, well, I wanted to be a dress designer. So that's what I went to art school for that. In fact, I was offered a painting class to paint watercolors, And I thought, well, I'll try it. And I did. And I thought, well, I don't like this. It dries before you finished it. What's the point, you know? So I never painted after that. I doodled in the studio, and that was it. But I went to art school to be a dress designer. And then when I'd finished there, we moved to Cornwall, actually. And then I went to art school in Cornwall. And then when I was there, I started writing letters to people in London, fashion houses, and sending little sketches and things off, you know, for people to see. And they always wrote back, you know, but it wasn't, the timing wasn't right, you know. You know, when I look back at how do you write a proper letter to a company, you know, for a job, it wasn't one of mine, you know. I mean, it was still got it across, but it didn't work. And yeah, I was with I worked with Jaeger as an assistant. I don't think they're around anymore. That was really a very well-known, established design company in England. They sold their clothes everywhere, very high class, wonderful. And so I did that, and then I went to another one called Winsmore, and this was for sketching and eventually designing. I wanted to be a designer, so I went there and I took my book. I went there and they put me in a room, and they gave me a sketchbook and said, you know, just come up with some ideas. And so I sat there for a couple of hours and you know, draw these ideas. And this older man came in to me and he said, "Oh, I love your style. It's very nice. I look forward to seeing you when I come back from vacation." So I think he was the owner of, you know, big wig in Winsmore. But his daughter was the one that was in charge now. And she was the one who gave me the book and blah, blah, blah. And what they did was I did this book. I did quite a lot of designs, you know, from me, my own designs, just came up with on the spot. They took in the book and they had it in there for a couple of hours. I'm going through it and everything. They were copying it. And then they fired me. They said, "Sorry, it's not going to work out."
I smell a rat.
I broke my heart, and I called my mum and dad, and I was crying on the phone. And they were about to go to Canada to see my Keith, my brother Keith, for a holiday. They said, "Right then, you're going to come with us. We'll pay for you to go to Canada." And we went to Canada for a month. So that was another story, because that's where I got up on stage and sang "Those Were the Days" in a pub called the Brunswick Tavern. I'd had a few beers because everybody used to drink lager back then. And I'd started messing around with singing, but I didn't have my boyfriend Eric at the time, who was the one who really started it off. But I'd seen my brother, and I'd done a couple of I hadn't done the talent competitions then, but I'd been singing. And so Mum and Dad said, "Well, why don't you get up and sing?" Because what they did, they had these pieces of cardboard, big piece of cardboard with everything written down on the cardboard for people to sing on. And so people were going up there, and I was drinking my lager, you know, one after the other. And they said, "Go on, Anne, get up there." And I went up and I sang "Those Were the Days," Mary Hopkins.
But all started with "Those Were the Days."
And then then Tony Visconti ends up producing my album "Blessing in Disguise," and we wrote songs together. How crazy is that?
That's kind of insane, actually.
Amazing.
Things don't happen like that to normal people.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I was going out with Eric, and he's the one Eric Peacock, I was his peahen. All our friends used to call me the bee. Bring peahen with you. Okay.
He's the one that really pushed you, right?
He's the one who kept it. We go to parties and I was singing, and he's the one who said, "Look, we got to get you going here. You put you into talent competitions." I went to talent competitions in pubs and clubs, all different places. And of course I was winning some of them. So it was obviously something. I was terrified. But I was singing things like "Dancing in the Street," which really isn't me, you know. By the time I get to Phoenix, oh my gosh, you know, those kind of ballads and things like that.
Yeah, the classics.
Once I Had a Sweetheart, you know, Joan Baez. I just threw them all together, and yeah, and that's when we saw this advert, the Showboat in the Strand, and that's where I got the job there, and was there for about 6 months. And then the guitarist said to me, Annie, you know, I've just found this out in the Melody Maker, and I really think your voice doesn't belong here in a cabaret group. I loved it. We had a great time. I loved it very much. That's a great thing to do if you're a singer, is to learn to sing every kind of music. Don't just say I want to be an opera singer. Do everything, because then you can. If you learn to do everything, you can do anything when somebody asks you, rather than, no, I can only sing pop songs. You know.
Right. And I think that's true probably for guitar players or keyboard players or any type of musician. Expand your mind, and then you can use all the little bits that you learned from everything. Yeah. And we hear it in your voice, actually. Whereas some singers, you can definitely detect, boy, they were deep in the Anglican church, and that was their choral based music was their foundation, and you hear it in the way they sing. And other singers, wow, this is a real R&B based person, listen to nothing but American soul music, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you can always tell, right?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Now, I wanted to touch bases with you about who's in your band right now. Okay. I want to shout out to some of the people that you're playing with right now, because you got some killers in your band.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rave Tessar, I was in my solo band, and that was started in the 80s. So he's been with me a long time.
Forever, yeah.
So when he was in my solo band, and when we got the band together again with Mickey, because the other guys didn't want to do it, unfortunately. The originals, we had to get a new band together. Rave was the first choice. Then Dave Keys, amazing bass player. He's not with us anymore. Wonderful man. And he was in my solo band, so he came in. And then I'm trying to think if Frank wasn't in my solo. Oh no, Joe Goldberger was in my solo band, but Frank Pagano was the one who joined then the new band, and Tom Brislin, who's now in Kansas.
Yeah,
fantastic.
We love Tom.
Oh my God, he's unbelievable.
He's a great player.
There, the big God's gift there. My God.
Tom Brislin, I go on record as saying Tom Brislin is the only person who's ever played with Yes, who even comes close to playing the keyboard parts right. That guy's amazing.
Yeah. So, and then we had, I believe, Jason Hart.
Yeah. Hey, Jason watches the program. Jason, if you're watching, he was quick to point out that he had been a member of both my 12th and my 14th favorite band of all time, being a member of Camel and Renaissance. So yeah, Jason. Yeah, I know you're out there lurking.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah. So that was the original new band, and then there's been a couple of changes after that. But now, and Mark, when Michael Dunford passed away, I contacted Mark Lambert, Lampariello. It's called Lambert. You can't. I think he did say. I'm sure he won't mind. So many people had such a problem saying his name. It was Lampariello, but they imagine you get all kinds of stuff. And so he changed his name. He's called Mark Lambert. It's a lot easier. And yeah, he's he fit perfectly. He's got a great voice, and he's doing well in Brazil. He's got his own act that he takes on the road. He's brilliant. He's just a great voice, great personality. And then when Tom Brislin left, he recommended Jeffrey Langley. And Jeffrey Langley's been with us now since 2016. And he's another brilliant keyboard player.
Yeah, he has an album, The 20 Committee, that you sing on.
Yeah,
it's such a good album. We love that album.
Somebody was asking about The 20 Committee in the chat here. Tell me a little bit about that, because that record was really cool.
I don't really know much about it, except he asked me to be a part of it, and I knew it would be unusual. And it was, and when people ask me to do things, they think I could do anything. It's all right having 5 octaves, but it depends where the song starts, and do you know what I mean? So that was a challenge, a little bit of a challenge, but I did it. No, they're all great guys as well, you know, full of life and passion for the music that they do.
Yeah.
They're excellent. I really recommend people look them up and go and see them, you know. I believe that actually, I think he's doing a show at Sellersville Theatre on the November 20th.
Yeah.
Band. Yeah. So,
yeah, it's a great album, and people should definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a question from the great Jeff Shilka, Annie. Big supporter of the Prog Corner, Jeff. So your question's going up on screen, and Annie's going to answer your question. What bands did you listen to growing up? Did you have a favorite band, or you know, what really was ringing your bell when you were like 12, 13 years old?
Well, around that time, my father was an amateur comedian singer, and so I was introduced to some music, you know, that you know, was pushed onto me, you know, because he used to rehearse at home, and I'm glad. I mean, I was a little. I would say I was probably 8 or 9 or something like that, and so he'd be singing like Nature Boy, If I Loved You. Also, 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. What was that?
Who did that?
I think Frankie Lane.
Okay.
Nat King Cole thing. What's the other one? Oh my! I can hear them, but I can't remember all of them. You know.
I love Nat King Cole.
To listen, and I used to love it. You know, it was just
But that's the thing, when you're a little kid, you don't really have a choice, right? Now maybe they do with their smartphones and whatnot, but when we were little kids, man, we were force-fed what we were listening to, either by our parents or our older siblings, or AM radio, you know, whatever they were playing. That was your musical world, right? So you didn't have a choice.
My mom, also called Annie. Oh, actually, I'm Anne. But her sister Joan lived in Buxton in Derbyshire, which is a spa town. It's people go there for the waters of Buxton.
No.
It's gorgeous, and we ended up playing in the Opera House with Renaissance, where I saw my Auntie Joan and Uncle Eric in the Light Opera Society there when I was a little girl. They used to do all the Gilbert and Sullivan things, and I'd sit in the back. And that's where my dream started, but I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? But that's where it all started, I'm sure. And when I used to stay with them, and my Uncle Eric had a wonderful operatic voice. So did his son, Brian. Jeffrey played the euphonium and the brass band. And I think Jill was actually the singer as well. So when I stayed with them, and my bedroom, my Auntie Joan had a wool shop. And I used to go and help her in the wool shop with customers and put things away, you know, like little girls like playing with jewelry and all that kind of thing. Anyway, and their place was right by a railway line, and my bedroom was right. I mean, the railway line was about 20 feet away from where I was at my bedroom window, and I used to get up and the steam train. Oh my God! I used to go train spotting.
No, there you go.
Oh yeah, and so the guy used to see me every day. Oh, you know, it was cool. You could smell the steam and everything. But musically, I remember they'd got an old-fashioned record player, and they were playing 78s, and they'd got Lonnie Donegan singing.
Oh, good old Lonnie Donegan. You don't hear that name much in the U.S., do you?
Chewing gum loses its flavor on the bedpost.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, Garance is correcting us about 16 tons. He's saying it's Tennessee Ernie Ford.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
We stand corrected. Thank you. Hey, our people are the best. We can't get away with anything here. We can't. They're right, Johnny, on the spot.
So Annie.
Yes.
When you answer the Melody Maker ad, you come into Renaissance. Did you instantly just like love it? Did you like, oh, this is totally me? Or were you like, I can make this work?
No, I knew. As soon as I heard the name, the word, Renaissance, and I looked the part. I wore a long Biber tapestry coat. I got my hair parted in the middle. I got a long boring dress underneath, but that was the 70s,
Yeah.
And I looked the part, and I walked in. I could feel it when I walked in. I felt like they're going, "Oh, it's the one,"
Now, Keith and Jane were there, right, for the audition?
No, Jen wasn't there. It was Keith and Jim.
Jim.
But yeah, and I was praying because I'd bought the album when I found out it was them that I needed, the band, and I learned everything on it. And they asked me to sing Island, and that was my favorite. And I knew it back to front. So it was like, it was incredible. I was singing it, and I could see them all like, oh my God, it's like,
I'm sure.
It's wonderful. I had no doubts whatsoever. But I never realized what was coming. I had no idea.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Did you have any concept this enduring music?
No, I didn't. And it took me a while to really what's the word? Not respect it. Just
appreciate.
Understand it and appreciate it. Yeah. And I didn't know that my voice was any different because the band never said, "Oh my God, that was great." I never got that at all. But Mickey, this who was our sound man, really nice guy, he said, "Annie," he said, "Have you do you actually know that your voice has got a different sound to it?" I said, "No." And then it all was different for me. Then I realized that it was, and I guess I appreciated it more because then I realized how it fit the music more. It's stupid for it to take that, but even so, I was learning as I was going along. I don't read music, don't write music, I don't play an instrument except maracas and tambourine.
Now, I'm just getting a report back, Annie, that apparently a couple of the shows are almost sold out. It looks like Newton and Collingswood are almost sold out. So get your tickets right now if you want to see Renaissance one more time. I'm telling you, if you miss out, you're going to be sad and you're going to remember this moment. And don't come at me about it. I warned you.
New York, there's some tickets left in New York, but they're going fast as well.
New York also. Okay. Yeah.
Fabulous place.
We want to get the entire show sold out. That's the plan. We need the whole tour, every show. So next up, we kind of were thinking, when we first heard that Annie was coming on here, I wanted to get Annie's top 10 Renaissance songs. Right. And I figured if I could get even like a top 5 out of her, it would just be like bucket list, done. But do you have any songs that you want to talk about that you particularly love from the incredible Renaissance canon, a top 10, if you will? What do you got for me, Annie?
All right, hang on a minute. I'm going to change this around.
Yeah, you can do that. It's your band. These are your songs.
Okay, hang on a minute. What am I doing here?
I put my top 10 down, so I'm going to see if there's any overlap. I mean, I won't mention, but I'm going to be curious.
Yeah, and Zeb, I'm going to ask her that question. I'm writing it down right now. I was going to ask her that anyway, but I forgot. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, no. God, there's so many. That's the
There are so many good ones, man. Sentimental. Trip to the Fair is all media reviews podcast number 1.
I've missed one of the main ones off here, but
Jekyll and Hyde, Zachary, good call. Bob's shouting out, "Can you understand?"
Great one.
Yeah.
Mother's walking around in father's trousers. You haven't heard that one, have you?
Mm-hmm.
It's Gracie Fields. Mother's walking around in father's trousers.
We don't know that one.
You don't know Gracie Fields. You should look her up. She's amazing.
I know.
She was always in these movies where she was da 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 da. So she sang, and she worked in the cotton mills as well. And she had all the women who worked in the cotton mills all singing along with her.
All right, now I gotta look this up. Okay, let's see. We got a couple shout outs to Mother Russia. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. We got a shout out to Anne Marie Binky. Yeah, Binky was in the band for a minute.
Yeah, Binky was in the band for a few months. Yeah.
Yeah, incredible voice. I hear she's like a really cool. Prologue getting some love, absolutely. The Sisters getting some love. At the Harbor, I'm hearing you. I love that track. I just listened to I Think of You like a half an hour ago, so we're on the same wavelength, Glenn. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, now that's a good one. Touching Ones, yes. Oh, and here we go. Garance, who corrected us about he's got it. That's the correct answer, by the way. For those of you wondering what my favorite Renaissance song is, it's Black Flame. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, and we got Naomi from 365 Days of Prague. Shout out to you, Naomi, one of the great women of YouTube. About to make a comeback. I couldn't be any more excited. Thanks for being here, Naomi. And I think I stalled long enough to give Annie time to collate her top 10, or maybe not. I see the wheels still moving. What do you think? You got it? Are we ready? Do we have a top 10?
I'm trying to read my writing. Shall I start off with number 10?
Yes.
Right, because I remember Harry did it like that.
Yeah.
Midas Man.
Yeah.
What a great... Oh, you know what? Now, there's a story to this. It's kind of... Oh, I hope I don't get choked up here. When Michael Dunford passed away, right, we were all in shock, you know. And a couple of days after the news, and I was having a hard time sleeping. It was just so terrible. I woke up and no, it was the day after. And I had a little Bose speaker was my alarm. It was an alarm clock at Bose, and I had it set to what was it, a WMGK or something, one of the radio stations of Philadelphia, and it came on, and it was Michael Dunford playing the guitar at the beginning of Midas Man. Ding, 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 ding. Nothing else, just the guitar on the radio. So that wow. Was, but I love that. I love the melody. I think it's very dramatic and mysterious, you know, and it's all about money, isn't it? But
yeah,
it's not money we need. It's all you need is love, right? All you need is love. Okay, so this Midas Man. Next one I chose was Touching Once.
Yeah. Yes.
And that was great to do in the studio. But I remember when we did it live, and I think we did the Novella tour just the year before. It was either 11 or 12 because Mickey was there. But there's a saxophone part in it. So I wasn't sure how I was going to do that, you know. But I did it. I did a vocalese in the end, you know. But, so the one before that's the Sisters.
Ooh. At number 8, we've got the Sisters.
Oh, that was gorgeous.
I sense a theme going here, and I like it.
Yeah, the Sisters. Then before that, Mother Russia.
Oh, yeah. At number 7, we've got Mother Russia. Yeah, you know, we haven't said the name Betty Thatcher yet on this stream.
Oh, right. Yes.
And we need to, because wow, if ever there's an example of how to write lyrics, just Google Mother Russia lyrics and school up on how to write lyrics for a rock band. Oh, it doesn't get any better than that, does it?
I've got some stories about her. Let's do the list first, shall we?
Yeah, okay.
Do the list
awesome.
First. So what did we say then? Mother Russia. Well, no, actually, that's probably a good idea to talk about my experience with this. When we did Mother Russia, sometimes we used Studio One, which was if it was available, because all the orchestras used to come in, they used to do the film work and then, you know, orchestra albums and blah, blah, blah. But this one time we could use, not that it wasn't any different, but it did have a great feel to it because it was vast. It was like going into a warehouse. And they put me in the middle of the warehouse with screens around me. And you could, you know, the room, the recording where they did all the recording up there was like way up because it had to look down onto the orchestra. So everybody looked like they were half a mile away from me. So I went through the song with everything was on there. All the musicians, the orchestra was on there, and it was just down to me to do my vocals. And I did my vocals, and I got to this part, me a second. It's in the instrumental. Oh, there's two. No, that's a different one. No, it's not. Hang on. Go on. I'm having a moment. Give me a second. It was at the end of. Oh yeah, da 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 ba da 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 ba da do, and I go sorry, and you can hear it on the recording. And everybody said there's nothing on there, but you can hear it.
Really?
Yeah. So ba da do da ba da do da ba da do. Sorry, da. It's
all right. I know
go
this
check
is
that
going
out
on tonight. I'm going to be listening to this with a fine tooth comb. I've never heard that part, so I'm gonna ID it. I'm gonna timestamp that.
Yeah. And then the next one is Island, which we talked about, and that's the one that got me the job.
Yeah.
And we did it on our 2017 DVD when we did our first show since the Albert Hall, which was 78, I think, wasn't it? 77, I think. We did with the Royal Philharmonic at the Royal Albert Hall. That's the last time we played with an orchestra. Mickey and I kept saying, when we reformed and everything, we've got to do the orchestra thing again. Wish we could. And then, I had. Should I tell you a story about this?
Yeah. Story time with Annie. You know, come on, man. When are we going to have another chance?
Children's stories, though. Yeah. Let me think about this now. It was in 2010, I believe, and I got an email from the managing director at the Royal Philharmonic, Ian McClay, and he said, "Annie, hope you're doing well." And this is like, when did we do those shows? 77, 78, 77. We wanted to find out. We were having a meeting. We wanted to find out if you would like to do some more shows with us. And I was so excited, and I called Mickey, and I said, "Well, I'll talk to Michael about it." But when Mickey and I talked, but then we realized that you have to pay them.
Yeah, right.
Because we had the record company that did all that.
Yeah, right.
I'd be getting excited, thinking, "Oh yeah, oh no,"
Stire's not around to pick up the tab this time around.
So at the end of this, we did a tour in 2015 of England, Europe, and I contacted Ian, and we decided to have a meeting, and so we had a meeting about how we could make it work and how he could get different things for better prices because of who they were and everything, and did we want to do it at the Albert Hall or would you want to do it at the Cadogan Hall, which is now the new home of the orchestra. Anyway, we went through all this meeting. It was really exciting, and Rave was with me because Rave is the one who knows, he's so intelligent as far as music and musicians, classical, jazz, everything. And so we decided on how many different how many violins we needed and all the woodwind and blah 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 blah, and it turned out it would be like a 38-40 piece orchestra, and it was coming further away from us as I was thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so exciting, and he wanted it so badly, Ian.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we finished the meeting. We said, we'd think about it and see how we'd deal with it. I guess we could have got a Kickstarter thing, but
right.
It would have been a vast amount of money to get together, because you don't just pay for the orchestra to pay. You don't pay the orchestra, or even in a band. Well, no, band's different, but the orchestra they get a fee for rehearsal, they get a fee for recording, for performance, and then they get a fee for recording. So they get 3 fees, all that kind of thing. So we got back, and Rave and I were talking about it. And, he said to me, "You know what, Annie, why don't we get our own orchestra together over here?" He said, I know lots of musicians.
Yep.
I know all the right musicians. And that's what we did. We got a 10-piece orchestra together. And we're amazing. And we did, it was just amazing. And We did the tour 2017, and at the same time, I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to do a painting for each song, and then we'll put it behind us on the backdrop. And so every painting had a song, and it came up behind the orchestra, 12 foot by 24.
Beautiful.
And yeah, somebody wrote to me once and said, how could you do something? How long did it take you to paint those? They're fast. I said, it was inches, not feet. I mean, it was feet, not inches, the other way around. Yeah, it was feet, not inches, you know. We blew them up. But that was amazing when we did that. So, God, that tour was... I kept turning around to look at the orchestra and everything. It was hard to concentrate, but it's a great DVD if anybody's interested. It's called Symphonic Journey. And then Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Northern Lights.
Yep. Yeah. At number 5, we got Northern Lights. Our top 10 hit. You got to include it, not just because of its importance to the band's history, but it's also a really good song.
It's an amazing song. And you know what? When I'd finished doing Nanny in Wonderland with Roy, and I learned a lot of different styles of music and different ways to use my voice. And you know, his sound is like lots of voices and treble tracking and different things like that. And so we finished Northern Lights, and I'd done the vocal, and it was all finished. And we, you know, it wasn't right. Something wasn't right. And I said, you know what? I think we need to treble track my voice on the verses. And that's what we did. That was the magic dust that did it. Yeah. But that was a great experience. And when we were on top of the Pops 3 times, they used to have dancers that they did a break for dancers to dance to some of the different music. But right. the dance, Sarah Brightman was in one of them.
Huh.
So that's where Sarah Brightman started out.
It is a small world.
It's stuff. Cool. Can't make it up. But anyway, the next one is Ocean Gypsy.
Yeah. People were asking about that in the comments, wondering where it was. There it is. Calm down. She said it.
So you know, Betty wrote a few songs with me in mind. Apparently, I didn't know. But she wrote that one about me, and that's it. I've never really able to work out what it is about me that is.
Yeah.
It's an idea somebody can write it down and let me know what they think it is.
There you go, y'all. Annie's giving y'all a task. I'm gonna put your thoughts on that up on screen. Yeah. Why is Annie the Ocean Gypsy? Right?
Why am I the Ocean Gypsy? I can't swim.
Yeah, let's find out. They're going to let us know.
Okay. Next one is Forever Changing.
Ooh.
Now, that's just a drop dead gorgeous, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful song.
And that was written by Terry Sullivan and Betty Thatcher. And it was about... Terry had lost his father, he's passed away, and that's his tribute to his father. And it's just such a beautiful song. I love it. When we did it, we did a video at Elton John, Gus Dudgeon's studio in Maidenhead, I think it was. We did 3 songs. We did Forever Changing, Carpet the Sun. Did we do any more? Well, there's a video anyway. But yeah, we did an acoustic version of it, and it came out fantastic. I remember John Camp had a really big bass, like it looked like it looked like a guitar, but it was a bass acoustic guitar. What do you call that? It was like a.
Yeah.
You can tell I don't play guitar. I can paint them, but I can't play them.
Yeah, one of those acoustic basses. Yeah, and I think Gus videotaped everything that happened at that studio.
No, well, this went out. Warner Brothers did this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I do remember one thing that I really liked, and and Gus Dudgeon had this toilet. Well, I'm not talking about the toilet. I'm talking about the room that the toilet was in, and it was this turquoise. It was the turquoise of an ocean, of the sea, And every time I talk about this in the video, I think of going in there, just like, oh my God, because some rooms really take you to another place that they're done really well and beautiful. You don't want to get out, you don't come out, do you? Come out of that toilet, Annie, what are you looking at? And I've always wanted to do it, and I still haven't done it. And I've got my bathroom here, and I thought, I've got to do it. I've got to do it. I've got to do Gus's toilet.
Well, I think we answered the Ocean Gypsy question, didn't we?
It's the useless topic, but you never know. It might give somebody an idea to paint the toilet turquoise, a dark turquoise, rich and deep.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, I've got 3 more, right?
No. I got forever changing at number 3. So you've got 2.
I've got to have.
We'll have a tie.
I've got a 2 tie. The second one will be a tie.
Okay, good.
Okay, first of all, Song for All Seasons. Oh God, and that on stage, it's just so uplifting. Everything about it is. It's just dramatic, so dramatic, and different. And Terry apparently wrote the beginning of that as well. I didn't know that for a long time. He had a big hand in that song. Really? And for anybody who doesn't know, Terry Sullivan was the drummer of Renaissance, as well as songwriter. And so the next one is Trip to the Fair.
Yeah, has to be on there.
Oh my God! Oh. And that has a story as well. Actually, it's got 2 stories. Yeah, the first one is that that's right. I was just about to have my first date with Roy Wood, and he came and picked me up, and we went with Dick Plount, who was our engineer at Delaney Studios, and his wife Annie. And we went to Trader Vic's in London, West End of London. That was, it's in the basement. That doesn't sound so good, does it? Lower level, in the basement of the Grosvenor Hotel. And it's Polynesian food. I think it started off over here, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
So. Yeah. So I've been, this was our first date. It was our first date. So we were there all night. I mean, I don't know what time we went, but we were there until the doors shut. We were the last to leave. I remember drinking these big bowls of a scorpion, they were called, and they had a magnolia floating on the top. And we all ate, because we're all pickled, we all ate the magnolias, and which I wouldn't do now because I'm a lot more careful with animals and flowers.
Yeah.
But I was a little gone. Anyway, and so we came out, and we're the last people to leave. And I think it must have been Roy who said it. I'm not sure who said it. Why don't we go to the fair that's on at Hampstead Heath? And it was, I don't know what time it was. It was around 11 or something. So we got in the cars and we were driving up, and it was dark as we were approaching. We thought, and I think it's closed. And it was really ghostly. We went up, we drove up there, and there was nobody there. There was nobody in the streets. It was really odd. But Betty Thatcher has said to me, "Look, can you call me the next day and let me know how it all went?" And I told her the whole story.
And there it is.
There's the song.
Beautiful. And what a track. What a great album. I think a lot of people, if you put the gun to the head, they would probably pick Scheherazade and Other Stories as the best representation of what Renaissance was capable of. Yeah. I don't know, man. That whole period.
Well, she still has her number 1, right?
Well, we got 1A and 1B. Yeah.
Yeah. So before she does that, Scott and I, we should try to guess based on her list. Yeah. I'm going with Carpet of the Sun. That's going to be my prediction. Your prediction, Scott?
I'm going with Ashes.
That was my second one. Let's hear it, Annie.
She's shaking her head, so I think we might both be wrong.
Scheherazade.
Okay. See, I would have thought that being so proggy, but then listen to the list. That's my number 1. It's probably Scott's number 1.
Oh, yeah.
So good. I'm thrilled with that, Annie.
It's gorgeous, isn't it? Oh,
that's phenomenal.
The Carnegie Hall version is unbelievable. For a live recording.
Yeah.
And
it is such a great the whole album, the whole live album. I think for a lot of Americans that was like their entry point to Renaissance was that live album, because it was the era of the double live album, right?
Yeah.
And if you were into like bands like Yes or Genesis or ELP, you take a look and you see there's some sidelong epics on there, right? You're immediately going to want to hear this band. So the fact that it's an amazing live album probably helped it out a little bit too. But looking back, what are some of your favorite albums? We got your list. We got your top 10 list here. Top 10 songs, but if there's one or two albums that you're particularly proud of.
Well, Turn of the Cards is pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Prologue, actually, because that's where it introduces the band. We do have electric guitar on there, which was kind of, that was kind of an odd,
little different sound, right? And we had Rob Hendry in the band.
The songs, and Raja Khan.
Yeah.
Well, Prologue through Novella, Throw a Dart. They're all amazing.
I was going to say Novella, then Song for All Seasons.
I think of bands, that's a string that they had going there. Just flawless, every song. Not a lot of bands can go that many albums with such quality work.
Yeah. I don't know. Genesis and Yes are pretty good.
Yeah.
Blues,
It's still a small number. But
there
you should be proud to be in that number.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, let's see. I had a couple comments here. A couple people wanting to know about your pets, Annie. Let's see. All media review. This is Kyle wanting to know if you have a dog. I know you have a cat, but do you have a dog?
Yeah, no, my little Angel. She was a puppy mill dog that I saved. She died a couple of years ago, but from old age,
Oh.
I have two indoor cats now, and 4 ferals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And the ones inside, one of them is a white cat. He's got bright blue eyes. I got him a couple of months ago, about 3 months ago now. And he's got, but white cats, if they've got the same color eyes, they're deaf.
Really?
Yeah, but the first white cat I got a couple of years ago, and she died of a seizure a few months ago. It broke my heart. She had one green eye and one blue eye, so she could hear, but this one is deaf.
I never knew that. I never knew that about cats' eyes and deafness.
Well, this is the white cats.
Yeah. Okay, just the white one.
So anyway, he's so big and he's so heavy, I called him Asia.
Nice one.
So he weighs the same as Asia.
I have a question that I'll be dying if I miss this opportunity, because I've always wondered about it. How come you guys caught on in those early days, particularly so much in the US, but not as much in the UK? Like, how did that even happen?
When the first album was Prologue. That came out on EMI, didn't it? Sovereign. That was the first album, and then the second one came out, I believe, on Sire Records, and that was in America. They deal with Sire Records, and I think that. I know what it was. Miles Copeland was my boyfriend at the time, so we went over there when Wishbone Ash were playing over there, and we went.
Another great song, by the way. Your cover of that Wishbone Ash song is beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Everybody Needs a Friend. Great song.
Yes, it is. I forgot about that. So I went. There's so many. It's ridiculous. Was that me?
It's been a long career.
Yeah, it is. And so when I was over here with Miles, I went to WMMR in Philadelphia, and I did my very first radio interview with Ed Sharkey.
Oh, yeah.
Who ended up
as Ed, man.
Yeah, he came. He ended up as a very close friend, him and his wife, and so we had Prologue was out. Prologue had come out in America or whatever, and he played it, and he was one of our champions, the same as Alison Steele on WNEW.
Yeah.
But I think that it picked up so quickly that it was obvious that we needed to come to America. All our time was concentrated on America, and it's amazing that we actually got a hit with Song for All Seasons. We did some tours, but it was more because we were making a lot of money.
Yeah,
I think that's probably one of the reasons we kept coming.
Well, it makes sense. So the spark was in the U.S. That's where you then go to keep the spark blowing on it and get it to flame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and there's a blueprint here of UK bands, ultra British sounding bands coming to America and conquering America, and so that the blueprint was set, and obviously, you guys had ambitions. This wasn't a band that was just content just being who you guys were. You wanted to take over the world. You don't come to America and play all those dates and sell out all those times at Carnegie Hall without a band with ambition. And the music speaks to that also.
Yeah.
It really, really does. Now, I got a question from Zeb all the way in Norway. Wants to know if there are plans to film, to tape, to in some way document this final tour, for posterity and possibly for profit as well. What are the plans there, Annie?
Well, we recorded, a couple with the orchestra, 17 and 19, and but since the pandemic, the cost of recording and filming it's just as I reached. So it's going to be 2 live CDs. Oh. I'm glad really it's just the band, because the band sounds amazing, on its own. The orchestra with the orchestra is fantastic, of course, but I think it's a good thing to do is for the last tour.
Yeah, I love it, and it'll be an actual document of what people were hearing that night that they went and saw you too.
So how do you think you're going to feel on that very last night?
You know what? I get choked up thinking about it now. So I
think we all do. I can't imagine what you're going through.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that the last 2 shows are in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And because the promoter apparently was a huge fan and just he just had to have us down there no matter what. So I'm looking forward to that. I remember with John Tout when we played there. My God, when was that? It's got to be in the 70s, because the 70s. And John, anybody said, "Who's going up the arch?" And so, I'm not going up, And so John said, "Do you want to go up?" I said, "Yeah, go on, let's go up." So we went. We were terrified. Oh my goodness! Have you ever been up there?
No, I have not.
Oh my God!
I've driven past it. I've never been up there.
You get to the top and there's nothing underneath. Yeah. Oh, it's awful. I would never do that again. Well, $50 million, I might. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But St. Louis, I'm looking forward to that. It's a small venue. We're going to 2 shows there, and it's perfect. I'm thinking about it now. I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm not looking forward to the fact that it's going to be the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of emotional, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But anyway, going back to your incredible career, your incredible life, your incredible music, but what is the deal with your fascination with and your love of art? We pointed it out at the onset, but again, I'm just blown away. I keep looking at the art in your backdrop. If anybody's interested in owning an original piece of Annie Haslam art, how do they go about doing that?
Well, anniehaslam.com is my website. I'm going to be putting new art up there at the end of the tour, sometime, but not yet, because I need to do a little bit of work on it. But you can go to the website. There's some for sale there. And what I've been doing for years now is I sell the paintings little 4x6 paintings at the venues, so people collect them, you know.
Yeah.
And but what happened was, it was in 2002, and I decided that I needed to. The band wasn't going anywhere. I needed somebody to represent me, and I'd had, you know, a couple of people that didn't work out, and I thought I felt like I was being told, you know, I need to stop singing. That's what I thought. Oh my goodness me! But I had to do it. You know, you have to come to a point at some time when you have to take a leap of faith, you know. And so I was in my den one day, and as clear as day, a voice said, "It's time to start oil painting now." It's clear as day. That's happened 3 times in my life. And I thought, wow. And so I took note. And this was my sunroom here. So I made this into a studio. I went and bought a book on oil painting, because it was specific, oil painting. A book on oil painting. All the oil paints, everything that I needed, canvases, easels. But I didn't do anything for 2 months. It just wasn't the right time. I just get up in the morning and think, it's not the right time yet. But the thing is, I looked at the book, and I've never been a reader, even when I was a little girl. I mean, I read what I was told to read at school, but probably didn't remember it because I'd rather go and do things, you know. So I didn't. I read 1 page of the book and put it down. I thought, I'm just gonna learn how to do it myself, teach myself how to do my own style, whatever. And so one day I woke up and I walked outside and picked a tiger lily, and the tiger lily's got the lovely big orange petals on it. And I thought, where do I start? And the smell of the paint was pretty strong, which didn't bother me, but it did later on because I had to change. And then I just painted. I thought I'll start with the sky, and there's this sky, and then I did the flower. And then when I got to the grass, it felt like somebody was holding my hand. It was most definitely something was holding my hand, because the grass started to curve, and because I didn't know what, you know, so I wasn't thinking I'm going to do this. Nothing. Somebody help me. So I let that one go. I finished it, but it wasn't, you know, and I was a bit upset. I thought, okay, well, let me just do grass. So I did a painting of grass on it, just grass, 9 by 12. And then I thought, and I felt it again. And then this was a bit more detailed, and it was just all grass, all this. And then I did a third one, and it was a UFO over the ocean. And the ocean's got waves in it that look really great. The sky, a dark sky, and this UFO floating over the ocean. Of course, then the next one I did, I was very random with the colors. I don't really usually plan things out. Even now, I don't really, unless it's a commission and I realize it's got to have a sky in it because they want to landscape, whatever. Right. And so I was sitting and then all of a sudden, before I started, like from I would say a skein of silk from a spider's web, right, came down in front of me about a foot away from my face, and it was dark red, and it was just sitting there, and I went like that, and I blinked, and it was gone. And then my whole studio started to smell of pipe smoke. Guess who that is? Who do you think that is? I knew it because I looked at the painting. Actually, I'd already done the painting. Beg your pardon. It was sitting in front of me. I'd just finished the painting. Van Gogh. And the painting looks like Van Gogh.
Whoa.
It looks like a Van Gogh painting.
Wow.
And I've had lots of experiences like that, and lots with Leonardo da Vinci more than anybody. Really? Yeah.
Why do you think you have a stronger connection with some Renaissance Italian guy than a French expressionist?
The Renaissance man?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Exactly. All,
full circle.
We're answering all of life's big questions here today.
The other big thing is that when we did the album Grandine El Vento, Mickey wrote this song he was starting to write a song, and I said, Mick, I want to do a song about Leonardo da Vinci. He said, no, we're not doing that. No, it's too literal. I said, okay, listen to this. Starry, starry night, la da 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 da. I said, do you know that song? He said, yeah, I do. I said, do you know what it's about? I said, no. He said, Van Gogh. You know,
a little on the nose. Don McLean made a fortune off of that song.
I didn't say anything. So I had this big book that I took up the next time when it was in the studio, and I laid it on Rave's piano, Leonardo's paintings. It was there the whole time we did this, and he didn't really want to know. But the next thing he gave me, he'd written this beginning piece that was beautiful, very, very open and very quiet. And he said, take this home and see what you come up with. And I thought, all right. So I stopped 3 times on the way home and wrote the whole beginning of it. Because I knew he was there, and he was there, and he's with me. And when we do the song on stage, everybody always says in the band, you always come alive differently when you sing that song. And I've seen his face in the places we play. I know everybody's going to think I'm nuts. Well, I am.
Well,
I'm a nutcase.
Would we want our Annie to be any different? I mean, really, seriously,
Stories are amazing. When we did Midas Man in Korea, we were in the middle. We were playing Midas Man, and then all of a sudden, I lost a word and half another word. That's how quick this was, and all of a sudden in front of me was Mr. Kim, right, the leader of the North Korea. And that day, they were having their. He was handing over everything to his son. There was some huge thing going on in North Korea. Right. Anyway, his face was right in front of me. It appeared. This face. It was like a whitish kind of. Like a gossamer look. Do you know what I mean? Like you can almost see through it. And so I said, what did I say? Something like, please make peace, Mr. Kim, or peace and love, Mr. Kim. Just whatever. It was something to do with peace. And then it was gone. So after this, and I got right back into the song. It was a split second. It was ridiculous. So when I came off, the sound guy came up to me and he said, Annie, he said, in Midas Man, in the second verse, he said, this white mist appeared around you, all the way around you. And he said, I turned to the girl and I said, I told you no dry eyes. She said, I don't do anything. There's nothing on her.
Wow.
So there's all these things, these different things. I'm very open, as you can tell. And I'm an open book. Sometimes it's to my, not demise is the word, but... that's who I am. My father was exactly the same.
What about aliens, Annie? Have we had any alien encounters? Have you ever seen a UFO or anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah, really?
I have.
Oh, wow.
It started when I was about 18. Yeah, when I was working. The first one I saw was at a bus stop, and there was a line of us going to work. And it was like a cigar shape, like a silver cigar shape. And everybody was going, oh my God, look at that. And it wasn't light yet. So the sky was a beautiful blue, but not dark, not, you know what I mean? And the silver was like really bright silver. And it was just going really slowly across the sky. That was the
wow.
I've seen quite one morning, my father's funeral with my brother Michael. That was the 3 lights we saw there. Yeah, I've seen.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody just gave me money to ask you a question. It would be really rude if I didn't. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, go for it.
Still lots of money, and now you're giving it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
50-50
That's how that
split with
works.
Annie.
Have you heard David Gilmour's new album, Luck and Strange? And
No.
And then we also had a question earlier. Anything you're listening to recently?
Anything do I listen to recently?
Yeah.
I've never been that way, really. Like listening, even when I was with Renaissance, like listening to other bands, like a fan of the band. I mean, I'm a fan of a lot of people, but can I say? Well, first of all, the David Gilmour thing, I haven't, but I've heard a couple of snippets. I heard, I don't know if his daughter's, she's called Roman, isn't she?
Yeah.
She sings this song. I just heard it 2 days ago, and I met a little note on there saying it's just absolutely beautiful, beautiful song. I can't remember the name of it, but I would think that's probably on the album because I think she's probably touring with him, right?
It's the first single.
Yeah, no, I've yet to hear that, but I'm very interested because I like that. And so that's the next thing I've got to do. But no, I don't. What do I listen to? Oh gosh.
Just say prog radio.
There you go.
Nigel Kennedy is a favorite of mine in the violinist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and wow, if you've never heard him, you've got to. He's a punk. He's usually got a mohawk or whatever. Yeah. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's really talented.
Yeah, and of course Asia. Yeah, and I got to guest with them and sing that song, for John. That was where did we do that? That was the Tropicana in Atlantic City and the Bethlehem Event Center. That was pretty amazing.
And here we got Jeff Shilka talking about turn of the century. That Steve Howe, Annie Haslam track. That when was that recorded? I don't even remember. Was that like 1980 or something?
Oh no! Oh God, when was it? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. Jeff will tell us, but amazing. Love that track.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm hoping that John liked it, John Anderson. I don't know.
He doesn't like anything unless he did it. He gets jealous about stuff. He's like insecure sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
But that's all right. I love John. If you're watching, John, we love you. You're a genius, but you're still human beings, so we can critique anybody here.
Oh, we're all different. That's thing.
Right.
That's what makes us all special, really.
That's right. And we have got none other than the one, the only Annie Haslam on the program. This has been amazing. Just as a reminder, I've got all the tour dates in the video description. Several of them are like this close to selling out, boys and girls. So as soon as we get off the stream, purchase your tickets. It's the last chance you'll ever see Renaissance live. The great Annie Haslam embarking on the Ingratitude Farewell Tour starting October 17th in New York City. You got to be there. You got to see them one more time. I know the band has meant so much to me. Kyle talking about that Ripples track, that cover you did for the Genesis tribute. Oh, I forgot about that. That was amazing. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, what a fabulous song that is. Oh my goodness me, yeah.
So good.
Blue girls come in every size.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. And the great Optimus, the meaning behind "Can You Hear Me?" You'd have to ask Betty about that, right?
Yeah, you'll have to ask Betty as well. Yeah. I think. Yeah, can you hear me? I don't remember. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we'll ask her about that. Yeah, I am a curmudgeon. I'm a caveman. That's part of my charm, you know that. Yeah, people are loving the stream today. It's been outstanding, and I really don't want to take up too much more of Annie's time. I figured 90 minutes on Prog Radio. That's a good chunk of time that we did this. Kevin, thank you so much for pulling this all together, doing the simulcast on Prog Radio, and we're doing Renaissance Week all week on the channel. You want to talk?
Kicking off with this simulcast all week long. We're going to be putting in extra doses of Renaissance, talking about the tour, encouraging people to fill up those seats. Last chance.
Thank you so much.
Nice, and we've got Annie's top 10, so we need to make sure that we focus on those tracks. Absolutely.
Oh, they're all in there.
Any last words for the people before we let you go today?
Well, I'm not going to say goodbye. It's awful. Yeah, well, you know, everybody that's a fan. I mean, it's the fans that have kept us going all these years, you know. And some people, some artists complain about fans and things, don't they? Duh, you know, that's how you got, you know, take photographs and all that stuff. It's all down to the fans. So thank you so much. And I've had some wonderful letters from people over the years, emails and things, and met a lot of you privately sometimes, you know, when needed. And really enjoyed my life with the band, and just sending love out to everybody. Take care of, you know, take care of other people as well as yourselves, because there's a lot of stuff going on out there now. We need to put a lot of love out there to make it go away. You know,
you couldn't be more right, Annie. Absolutely, the world is going through the locomotions right now. It happens every 20 years or so, as Andy Partridge once sang, and that's a fact. And now we're going through it right here. But there's only one way to defeat the forces of evil, boys and girls. It's not with guns. It's not with bombs. It's not with knives. It's not with harsh words. It's with love. We will defeat evil. Absolutely. Love conquers all. It always wins. But, you know, it's not a straight chart. Like, you look at it, it's like looking at Wall Street. It's jagged. It's got its ups and its downs. Don't lose heart. Don't be discouraged. We've got the great Annie Haslam giving us messages of love. What else do we need, man, to edify us and encourage us? We're going to be just fine. Annie, thank you so much for joining us, man. This has been just such an honor. I'm a huge fan. I hope I didn't make an idiot out of myself fanboying, you know, for the last 90 minutes. But this has just been really, really special. Thank you again.
Thank you very much for having me on here.
Kevin, we'll talk soon. We got some exciting stuff going on here. During the next few days. Who do we got? We got Graham Goldman from
trivia. Graham Goldman and Renaissance. What do they have in common?
I mean,
is he an original?
Yeah.
We played with them.
Well, the Yardbirds, and he wrote all those great songs for the Yardbirds.
Yeah.
So.
We did a show with them in Cornwall.
Oh yeah.
And Chuck Berry was on the bill as well.
Oh wow.
But he came on in 10 minutes and then buggered off.
The life Annie's led, the stories. We could probably have Annie on every week just talking about this, that, and the other thing, telling stories about who she's met and what she's done. This has been amazing. Really, really thankful. Thanks so much for reaching out, Annie. It's been a lot of fun, but you know, boys and girls, all good things must come to an end, whether it's a band that we love and cherish and adore, like Renaissance, or whether it's this here live stream today. So with that, I love you all. Peace in the Middle East, free Tibet, free Ukraine, free Willie, and God save the king. Oh yeah, save King Chucky. That boy's got the cancer. We need saving. We need to bring him to America, where our thoughts and prayers will do him wonders. We're going to do spells. We're going to do incantations. Oh yeah, we're going to drink that poison. But boys and girls, only thing that's going to help us is Billy Bob busting out them rattlesnakes. Oh no, look out. Oh, the Spirit of the Lord is with me, y'all. And that one's got a good bite. Listen here, I got the Spirit of the Lord in me, and I hope you got it in you. I'll see you guys. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.